Mr. Speaker, I have a motion to recommit at the desk.
Is the gentlewoman opposed to the bill?
I am opposed to it in its current form.
Gentlewoman qualifies. The clerk will report the motion.
Ms. Rice of New York moves to recommit the bill H.R. 1560 to the Select Committee on Intelligence, Permanent Select, with instructions to report the same back to the House forthwith with the following amendment. Page 22, line 14, strike "and." Page 22, line 16, strike the period and insert a semicolon. Page 22, after line 16, insert the following.
The gentleman from California is recognized.
Consent to dispense of the reading.
Is there objection to dispense with the reading of the motion? The reading is dispensed. The House will be in order. The gentlewoman from New York is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is the final amendment to the bill, which will not kill the bill or send it back to committee. If adopted, the bill will immediately proceed to final passage as amended. Mr. Speaker, the most important job we have is to protect the American homeland and the American people. The threats against our country are ceaseless and constantly evolving, and we too must evolve and adapt in our efforts to maintain the domestic security that the American people have entrusted us to uphold. Passing H.R. 1560 will be a significant step forward in that effort. Our nation's cyber infrastructure is under attack every single day, from hackers, from foreign nations, and from terrorists. I believe H.R. 1560 will strengthen our government's ability.
Gentlewoman will suspend. Gentlewoman is correct. The House will be in order. Members are requested to take their seats and remove their conversations from the House floor. The House will be in order. The gentlewoman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I believe H.R. 1560 will strengthen our government's ability to coordinate with companies in the private sector, share intelligence, and respond to these threats. But I also believe the legislation should be stronger. We know that foreign nations and terrorist organizations are actively seeking to steal American military intelligence and technology. And we know that terrorists are using the Internet to spread their poisonous ideology, recruit American citizens to join their ranks, and encourage attacks here in America. Just this week, 6 Minnesota men were arrested after trying to travel to Syria to join the Islamic State. Last week, authorities arrested an Ohio man who actually trained with a terrorist group in Syria and returned to the U.S. intent on carrying out an attack on our soil. Earlier this month, 2 women in my home state of New York were arrested for planning to detonate a bomb in New York City. Mr. Speaker, this amendment will help prevent—
Gentlewoman will suspend. The gentleman is correct. The House is not in order. The House will be in order. The gentlewoman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, this amendment will help prevent a domestic terror attack by allowing federal agencies to coordinate and prioritize the sharing of cyber threat intelligence regarding known terrorist organizations like the Islamic State, Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, and Al-Qaeda, and its affiliates, groups that use the Internet and social media as a weapon in their efforts to attack the United States and the American people. Likewise, this amendment will direct federal agencies to prioritize the sharing of intelligence regarding attempts by terrorists and foreign nations to steal American military technology. This amendment will help protect our nation and the people we serve. Now, I have no doubt that that is the highest priority for my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, so we must also make it a priority to neutralize these threats and do all that we can to thwart the violent ambitions of those who want to do us harm. Again, Mr. Speaker, I believe H.R. 1560 is important legislation that deserves bipartisan support, but I believe this amendment deserves the same. It will make the legislation stronger, make the American people safer, and I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to give it their full support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back the balance of my time.